Alright, good morning everybody. Welcome to this Train Sim World 2 video. We're doing a German freight today. We're on the DBBR 185 MRCE. So things have finally seems to have oops. I gotta minimize some windows here and then we'll get started. So yeah, this is a huge learning process for me. I'm not gonna lie. It's anyways, all right. Let's get in here, get this set up. Let me all right. Hello again, Amela. I'm sorry, guys. This is just going to take some time for me to get used to how this whole thing works. Let's see. We need. We'll put the PZB on. I think CIFA's, if I remember, is down the hall here. So while the brakes are charging, there we go. There's that. All right. Let's get that changed so that it's easier to see. There we go. Make sure the pantograph's up. That on. We don't have the passenger doors. Alright, let's get that turned that way. Yeah, hey Josh, everything should be live on YouTube now. So if you can head over there, that'd be great too. Let's get the brakes off here. So we're taking this intermodal service. There's our 185 MRCE or 182 MRCE, aka the ES64 U2. Alright, so let's get the throttle going here. And then we'll be on our way. There we go. Hello, Amela. Now, if you just bring Josh over, you might have to send him the link, Amela. Yeah, doing some freight, Josh. Alright, so now, where are the...
Zugbeeinflussung.
There we go.
FIFA, Zugbeeinflussung.
Anyway. Now I just got to make sure I pay attention to the speed boards.
Zugbeeinflussung.
So we're going to stop looks like here. I think we have to wait for a moment there, and then we'll be able to go on all the way up to Lübeck. I believe this is our final destination. Yep.
Beeinflussung.
Yeah, this is going to take some getting used to, how to get this thing set up and all that. So yeah, the more people that go over to my YouTube, I greatly appreciate that. I've got both chats open, but I'm trying to, preferably, I'd like to pay attention to only one chat. Hey, Mick, hello, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Doing good, Mick. Just took a second try to get this thing going. It's just a bit of a learning process, so yeah. But I'm doing good now. I got things going here finally. We're here on the Hamburg to Lübeck route. Do a little German rail action here. There's another service with the car carriers. Yeah, so subscribers on my YouTube should, if I go live on YouTube, you should get a notification, I think.
Zugbeeinflussung.
Should be slowing down. We should be going up the hill here to join the main line here in a moment, and then we'll stop in Arnsberg for until some passenger traffic. Okay, but stay here, Josh. Stay in this. Yeah. I mean, I'll have the Twitch open, but I just rather prefer to pay attention to only one chat. But until everybody kind of is in. Oh, thank you, Mick. I appreciate that. Then it'll be easier for me to just to keep an eye on one thing. Yeah, Cane Creek is tomorrow. That's the new toy. Yep, gonna get caught for speeding there just a tad. We're just gonna coast up the hill here. Yeah, it's just because I was trying to read both. Bithers was messing with me last night, popping into both chats. So yeah, it's just easier for me to just pay attention to one. So, but right, so there's a new speed. Watch that. Yeah, I was trying to figure how does the German DB. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Germany ever used a caboose. I think that's just like an American sort of thing, Josh. I don't know that any other countries ever had them, to be honest. They may have had modified passenger cars, but I don't, because cabooses were primarily for like long distance freight hauling, where the crews would switch off after so many hours or whatever, although that wasn't always necessarily the case. It turns out a lot of times the crews were going beyond their expected hours, and so that is what led to a lot of problems on American railroads. Yeah, there's a fare there. I think that's one of the overlays that you can get with this route once you do the mastery stuff. Yeah, I think cabooses are just, it's an American sort of thing. And maybe even up into Canada, but not, very rarely ever was it, I think, did I ever hear about. Maybe in World War II there was some in Europe, but that was usually like a private car for, like, powered official in the Third Reich or something. They had their own, private areas on the train, private car or whatever, depending on their rank. Yeah, we're just kind of cruising along here. We do have a stop here in 14 kilometers.
FIFA.
I think last time I did this service, not this one in particular, but ran a freight using the 182 MRCE, stopping at Arnsburg, it seemed like it took a bit of time to get the train moving again. Yeah, Mick, that's the plan. So I have to start the stream on Twitch first, and then I have to start up Aircast, and then I have to find a way to get this window open where I can watch the YouTube chat while I'm streaming. So this is the place I'll be doing. So that way I don't have to go over to my computer, download the video, upload it to YouTube, and then it's got to go through the whole processing and checks and all that. So that negates all that, which is far easier for me to deal with. So yeah, this is the plan. Now, if by some chance I can get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I can be on my iPhone and I can go live on YouTube that way. So if I'm traveling or whatever, I can go live on YouTube with my phone, and I don't have to, because that whatever happened with Twitch, like after that last video on when I was in Roanoke, where it was like 17 minutes or something that I walked around. I went live again, but I didn't realize it wasn't recording. So there was a video after the one where I think I walked around and I was like, I was going to pop off and go get some, sit down and have a bite to eat. it never allowed me to go live again until I was in San Jose, that 10-minute video there. So there was stuff I shot that never recorded. So I still don't quite understand what happened with that. So that's the only thing. But I can't go live on YouTube on my phone unless I have at least 1,000 subscribers. So that's the goal, apparently. So yeah, I'd like, if I can travel more, I'd like to be able to show everybody some stuff, just to kind of give you guys some insights of some places here in America. I mean, not that there's much to see in Binghamton, but there is a bit of history here that I wouldn't mind showing. But I don't want to lug around a video camera, I'll be honest. It was quite a lot. Now, because, most people, you just have a phone. If people see you with a video camera, they're like, they don't always think too highly of that. So I'm going to start slowing down here so we don't spat at Arnsberg. Kind of have a nice chilled run in here to Arnsberg. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So yeah, spread the word. It'd be nice to have some more folks come in to the stream. But as I was saying last night when I did the run on the LGV Mediterranean, there's going to be some ground rules, and it's going to be very cut and dry. It's not going to be where people are going to misunderstand anything. So the rules are the rules. I don't know if I want to institute like a 3 strikes and you're out sort of thing. But I may just do, you get 1 strike and you're timed out. You come back and do it again, and we're just going to kick it. Because I'm not going to tolerate a lot of foolishness in the chat. Didn't expect you to stream when you got back. Yeah, that was the plan, Nick. You can blame Amela for that. I had thought about it, but that was when I didn't, there was no delay when we were leaving Newark. I would have been home a lot earlier in the day if there hadn't been the initial delay compounded by another 30-minute delay when we went to like a maintenance parking spot at Newark and sat there for 30 minutes while they sorted out this light that came on after the second engine started. We started taxiing, and then we went this weird direction, and I'm like, oh, something's not right. And they sat there, I think we sat there for at least 15 minutes before they even told us what was going on, which I'm not too pleased about. Because I kept thinking, if we're sitting here this long, there's got to be something wrong with the plane if we're going to eventually go back to so we just came under 1,000 hertz magnet. We're on the brakes, so we should slow down in time for the magnet to come off. Yeah, we're well below the necessary speed. Yeah, I was, and I mean, I didn't think about it. I'm like, well, I might as well try it. But I was so tired. I was hungry because I hadn't eaten anything since I had breakfast in Newark. So yeah, it was. I mean, as soon as I got off, I ate. I was watching a documentary on Netflix, and then I was starting to fall asleep, just sitting here in the recliner, and I was like, I gotta get up and go to bed. Yeah, horn codes. Nope, there will be no horn codes. There will be none of that. I assure you, there will be none of that. No. Well, part of it is I can only do one tone, first off. Secondly, I'm not that interested in learning all that stuff. I mean, if you want it, somebody wants to post it, I'm okay with that, but I'm not going to be like doing that in the streams. So if people want that, they're going to have to go looking elsewhere for their horn entertainment. So yeah, eventually I'm going to have to probably set up some mod roles for a few people. Yeah, there just won't be any foolishness in the chat. I'm not going to tolerate it. If they want that, they're going to have to go somewhere else. And I'm not even. I don't feel bad about that. I mean, of course, I want more viewers, but I want people who come in, and it's just a game. It's not real life. If you want to treat it like real life, more power to you. Go do your own streams. So we got a board here for 1:30. That. So we're going to stop here off to the side. We're going to have to sit and wait for the green light. I can't say much. I was on Peninsula, blew the horn right through the station because what? I don't know why. They do. I will admit, they do the horn blast when you're going through the crossings and all that, and they do when you do come into the station. They do blast the horn. They do hit the bell, and it's just, I know it's a safety thing because a lot of people nowadays, 99.9% of people have their earbuds in. They've got their music blasting, or they're listening to the news, whatever. So they're not paying attention to what's going on around them. So I get that it's a safety thing, but when you're streaming, it's kind of hard to talk over that many horns. Like if I did all the horns like on the Peninsula Corridor, you would never be able to hear me talk. And that kind of defeats the purpose. So I think that's what a lot of people fail to realize, is that when you do that, you're kind of screwing up your own stream. And I think a lot of people who ask for it don't care because they don't stream the game themselves, because they don't want that. They don't want to deal with that kind of nonsense themselves. So, yeah, exactly, Mick. I want people to have fun. That much is true, but I don't want. What I notice is some people come in and try to make it all about them, and that's not going to happen here. Okay. So we have about a 10-minute wait here. So, yeah, exactly. I mean, I know, like Richard and Joe, they want people to come in and have fun, and they don't mind, entertaining. And I want to be entertaining. Don't get me wrong, I do. But there's a difference between entertaining and then just doing, a person just being very demanding. And I'm not going to stand for the demanding part. You know, if I you know, I'll give it to the horn here and there, but it's not going to become like, you know, you're not going to always come in here and say, oh, toot the horn for me, or show me the inside of the cap thing. Nope. You're going to get, it's going to be like this. I'm going to come out here with the camera and I'm going to say, well, there's the inside. No, I want it. No. Well, then you can, if you don't have the game, I don't know what to tell you. You know, you're missing out, first off. That's what I'll tell you for sure. You're missing out. So, yeah, I just, so, but yeah, if I can grow the channel, I certainly will. After this is over, I'm going to try to get the other 2 videos on YouTube. I probably won't edit them down, so you're going to see the video where I was walking around downtown Savannah. It's just going to be a lot of walking. You're going to be looking at the sidewalk a lot, but I think I'm talking most of the time, so it won't be so bad. But yeah, it won't be edited down. So we got about 8 minutes now, or just under 8 minutes to go, and then we should be back on our way here. I hear the ambulance, but I don't see it. So yeah, I will say that the it does appear that the Peninsula Corridor has been modified in real life. I think I talked about the Hillsdale station being elevated now. You could see all the new ballast. The tracks, I think, were what was already there. They just didn't put new tracks down, but the ballast in the station's all new. It's like all concrete. So I think that's part of things that they discovered when they were trying to prepare the line for electrification. That there's a lot of stuff underneath. You know, if you go beneath the ballast here, there's a lot of stuff that's just really, and it's probably because of earthquakes and stuff, and just, you know, a lot of traffic back and forth on that railroad. You know, mainly the passenger traffic. So I think that's something they have to contend with. Some of the lines are already up with the lines already in place. So kind of like this system here. But a lot of it's just they built the infrastructure, like a tower and then the pole, and then that's pretty much it. They've not ran the wires. So yeah, but it is way different than I remember it. So all right, about almost 7 minutes. So about, yeah. About 7 minutes, and then we'll be on our way. Here comes a passenger service. Yeah, they'll definitely leave before we do. There's a 112 with the Doppelstock. Did he hit the marker? I think it's like right here. We might have gotten 500 points out of that. Hey, Pete, how are you? Welcome. I think that's the first time Pete has ever been in one of my streams. I watched your vids, had my lessons for today, enjoyed people need to watch. Well, thank you, Mick. I appreciate that. Welcome, Pete. Great to see you here. Now Pete gets to hear my soothing voice for the first time, I think. Josh was the first one to acknowledge my quote-unquote soothing voice. Back in the old Discord for Richard. I think, yeah, once we pass this, we have a magnet to, we gotta acknowledge the signal. Once we get ready to go here. Yeah, very soothing. Well, thank you. Yeah, I remember Josh said that the first time, and I was like, okay. Yeah, it was after my first couple videos on Twitch. Yeah, I really wish that I had been able to stream more on Twitch while I was traveling. I don't quite know what happened with that. Why it was acting up. Alright, just under 3 minutes and then we'll be on our way. So that train should be well down the road, I would hope, by the time we get released. But we may have to kind of go slow so we don't like run into everybody. Should be it should be coming around the corner here any moment now, a passenger train. There it is. I think it's a passenger. I guess we'll see when it gets here. Yeah, apparently I had an update on the Xbox that I had to download, and then I had to wait for then of course we had to do the update for Train Sim World 2, and that certainly made the wait take a little bit longer once I got here last night. I was so happy. Fish and chips just been delivered, so fabulous. Have a good train stream to watch and enjoy while I eat. Oh, thank you, Pete. Well, enjoy your fish and chips. Bon appetit, as they say. Yeah, I tell you, I was so happy to be able to get on the bus yesterday evening when I got to the bus station in Syracuse. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten home until probably close to 11, and there would have been no stream last night to test out the system. This would have been the first one for the day if that had been the case. But yeah, I was, when the lady told me, yeah, we got one more seat left, and I'm like, I gotta be on that bus. I'm not waiting till 9 o'clock tonight. So yeah. Alright, we should be getting released here in about 15 seconds. There we go. Alright, we are now free to go. Wow, that worked out pretty good. I was expecting some rollback and other drama.
Zug beeinflusst.
Singing train. Very musical. Hey, Pithers, how are ya?
beeilt.
30.
Zug beeilt.
All right, 34 kilometers to Lubeck. I'm good. I got some sleep and, so figure I'd come on and get another stream in today. And then I'll be download and post 2 more videos on YouTube from Savannah. One of which, now the train museum, the first video you'll see in Savannah is the train ride. It's very short. I honestly had expected it to be longer. I thought it went off the property and then came back. So you get to ride the turntable twice. You'll see video of that. Yeah, it's not a huge museum. It doesn't take much to walk around it, but I did. To be honest, Mick, I mean, it looks nice. For all intents and purposes, it is. I'm not going to lie. It's just that they've got a huge crime problem there. The weekend prior to my arrival, there was a shooting downtown. So a lot of people told me that it was a smart thing that I didn't stay downtown after dark. Because I was debating it, I was going to do the cruise in that night, the night before the actual show, the next day, and I was like, I don't feel very good about it. So I went back, and that was the smarter decision. Apparently, a lot of people said. I better get on the brakes here because 2 kilometers is going to go fast. But I mean, or even this won't right after I did the video at the Veterans Memorial, this woman just comes out of nowhere. I just got the title to my car. I thought she was talking to somebody else. I'm looking around going like, okay, who's she? I thought somebody was behind me. And I'm looking around, nobody's there. And I'm like, oh, she must be talking to me. So I told her, I said, well, that's great, and she's telling me this story, and I'm just like, okay. And then she had no idea what the area was. So what are all these stones? I said, it's a Veterans Memorial. It's, on one side it starts World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and then you have a few other names that, they don't have anything for the War on Terror yet. But, yeah, she was like, oh, I had no idea. So, yeah. So, yeah, it's I think looks can be deceiving. So I just kind of got that feeling. I'm like, I think it's just safer for me to go back to the hotel, avoid any drama, whatever. And so a lot of people said that was the smarter decision to do it that way. Alright, so we should have the 140 coming up here. Yeah, so it's just that was the only thing, but it's okay. It is what it is. Didn't really get to see too much in Vegas, partially because my buddy works in the evening. He works late at night from 7 at night to 3 in the morning. and then he sleeps during the day. So we didn't really go out and do anything. I mean, we did a little bit, but it wasn't, they're doing a lot of construction in Vegas in preparation for the NFL draft that's going to be there next year. The women's basketball All-Star game is going to be in Vegas. I think something else big. It's either lacrosse or soccer. I don't remember. So yeah, it's really difficult to get around. And then we had the little craziness at the Denny's restaurant where they had to call the police on this person. And just, yeah, it was nuts. So yeah, Savannah was good. Really enjoyed being there. Not much has changed there. I think we were talking about that, the other day on Discord. Yeah, so it was easy to get kind of turned around because I hadn't been there quite some time. But yeah, it was good to be there. Had fun at the train museum. I think you guys will really enjoy the video. So yeah, the train ride will be good. I think you'll enjoy that. I did basically a loop around some squares in Savannah. I went from one part to the other and came back. And then we walked around by the river, so you'll see the Savannah River. A lot of freight traffic there on the Savannah River now. I don't think they ever got the approval for the cruise ships. I think that was something that the town folks did not want, even though it would bring a ton of money to the area. Either that or a lot of the cruise lines have suspended operations, so maybe that's why. But I don't think they ever approved that, nor did they. I think they did approve it in Charleston, much to the dismay of a lot of people. I think one of the last times I was in Charleston, they had the signs up. A lot of people had signs up around their homes not wanting the cruise ships there in Charleston. But it brings money to the area whether you like it or not. It does help create jobs, because the more visitors you have, it's going to be busier. You're going to have to hire more staff. Oh, no! I've not posted the stuff in Savannah yet, Nick. Those videos I had to shoot on my video camera since I couldn't go live on my phone. So, but yeah, I think you'll really enjoy both of those. The train ride it took about 30 minutes to do everything. I was expecting a little bit more, but that was the first time I'd ever done that. So, yeah, it was something new for me, to be honest. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to really get on the brakes here. I think this happened before where I didn't notice the 1000 hertz magnet, and then I got dinged for speeding. It just clicked on the safety thing and just stopped me anyway. Alright, I think we're safe now. Not too shabby for not having I don't know yet, Nick. It's gonna be maybe in the fall, possibly. I don't know. I'd like to go back to so when I took the bus, which that's a whole nother adventure in itself, Lord. When we went through Scranton on the way to New York City, and the old office, I think, or there's a lot of areas that I've never been around Savannah. Now I did see, as soon as I saw it, I wish I'd snapped a picture of it. As soon as I saw it, I was thinking about Evan. There's a model train store in Scranton. A road trip to the I like to do that still too, Pithers. I just the rest of this year, I don't know how things are going to play out yet. I have to figure out this whole thing about the veterans telling their stories project. That's once I know more about how we're going to handle that, then I can kind of plan other trips. You know. So, yeah, I have ideas, but you know, I have to wait to see how that's going to play out. That's the priority first. You know, unless of course I win the lottery by chance, and then all bets are off, and I can pretty much do what I want. So yeah, I would like to go back to Scranton. Not gonna lie, there was some stuff there. They do have a train museum there. You know, if you've looked at my Flickr page, you've seen pictures. There are pictures from the Steamtown Museum. That's what they call it. I think they did have train rides there. I don't know. I'd have to look at their website to see if they're if they have those available again or not. You know, with this whole new Delta variant, a lot of things that people were planning on maybe put back on hold now also, unfortunately. So there's a lot of unknowns at this point. You know, I'm thankful that I was able to get a trip in. So, you know, I'm just going to have to wait for everything to kind of play out and see how things go. So yeah, Scranton for sure. Probably, I don't know beyond that. But Scranton's easier for me to get to. It's not a very long bus ride to get there. There's, I think, some reasonable places to stay. There must be a train ahead of us, I'm guessing.
Sifa beeinflussen.
Yeah, there's one at that station there. So we're just going to kind of cruise along here at 34 kilometers an hour. That should give that train time to finish loading passengers and be on the way. That's like right.
Sifa beeinflussen.
That's the only drawback about checking the map to see what's going on in front of you. SIFA starts going off, or you might inadvertently miss a speed change. But yeah, there's definitely passenger service in front of us. But yeah, that's the trip to Scranton's in the works, or is on the to-do list. But again, it's going to be dependent on how the rest of July goes into August, whether or not I go back to work at the community college. I won't know about that until probably sometime in August as well. Plus getting the photos printed for the show that I want to do. Well, not that I want to do it, it's just that's what my person I'm working with on this veterans project you know, I had mentioned that there's a possibility, you know, maybe we could do a photo show, kind of bring some awareness to the project overall. And also, you know, what some of the veterans are going through in the area. You know, some people have done fairly well for themselves, other people struggle. And I think the ones that struggle are the ones that are often overlooked. You know, certainly during the pandemic, you know, people's mental health just took a downturn. So, yeah, it's hard to say how things are going to go. You know, I want to make plans, but I don't want to be overly optimistic and then be disappointed.
SIFA beeinflussen.
Wow, that SIFA just seemed like it just, without I just acknowledged it. I think we can kind of speed up a little bit. And I think there is a place where you can kind of see, I think it's Norfolk Southern that runs through Scranton. It's either Norfolk or CSX, but either way, or maybe they both share some trackage. But anyway, I think there's a spot where you can kind of watch maybe some freight action going through. There is an Amtrak station, I believe. Actually, that would be more fun than riding the bus, I think. It is so cramped on the bus. Good Lord. So I would have to take, if I took Amtrak, I think I'd have to go up to Syracuse, and then, so I'd have to go an hour north to go like 3 hours south. But I mean, it would be worth it just to take the train ride to Scranton. I'd have to look at that. You know, I wouldn't get a roomette because there's no sense in spending that kind of money for that short of a trip. So yeah. All right, so that train should be. That's right. So we're there, and the other train's like right around here. Okay, so I think we're okay now. I don't remember if there's another. I think there's another station just outside of Lubeck. So we may still have to come to a complete stop here. We'll keep it around here. I think we'll be okay. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But it's now the other option I have too, which, you know, kind of, then I'm basically not using a usable video camera, is if I get a GoPro. I saw a lot of people, especially in Vegas, oh my god, like everybody had a GoPro on a stick doing videos. So that would be the easier way to do it. You know, it's pretty concealable, probably, you know, easier to handle. Because my head was tired with that with the video camera. So either that or I have to get some kind of rig, or I just use my digital camera, because I can record video on that. The digital camera I have, a lot of people said it's perfect for vlogging. You can basically set up a rig for that. So Yeah, I could do that. I've got extra batteries. I would just have to have a one card that's specifically for video, and then another for photos. So I may end up just doing it that way, but then I have to invest in making a rig for it to kind of protect the camera and spot for a microphone and everything else. So we'll see. But again, that means I have to pull that information off card, which is going to end up taking up a lot of space. Yeah, that's going to be the only drawback. I mean, I've got some external drives, but it'll eat up that space very quickly. I'm going to have to invest in a much larger external drive system if I am able to do, go on these trips, do videos and stuff like that, which I'd love to do, don't get me wrong, but part of it is financially, paying for a place to stay, food, transportation, Ubers cost a lot of money after a while, and you don't want to be back in the chat. That was the most enjoyable watch the stream as I ate. Oh, thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying. Got about 8.3 kilometers to our destination, but that, of course, is as the train flies, so to speak. So, yeah, we're making our way there. We're just chugging along. At this rate, you will need the help of Warner Brothers. No, I don't want to be involved with the studio. No, I do enjoy sharing, Nick brought up a valid point, especially in these difficult times. It is kind of nice to see different parts of the world, especially if you're not able to travel for various reasons, So yeah, I'd like to be able to share a lot of that with you guys, I've always, in my perfect view of my life, if I had my way and money was not an option, there's a book, and it kind of, it inspired me a bit. Whenever I travel, I always think about what this one particular, Stephen Shore's his name. One of my, before Catherine and I was driving, I remember, Pete, you burned through Hamburg to Lübeck for quite some time. Stephen Shore's his name. Check out his work. He did a book about, he traveled. He went on this huge road trip across America. He went from east to west and then back up to the East Coast. I think he started here in New York and went across, and he photographed stuff that most people would like the Instagram generation certainly would identify with his work. You photograph food, you photograph your hotel maybe, just really you're capturing little snapshots of where you are at that particular moment in time. If I had the means, I would certainly like to follow in his footsteps. Because if you look at the pictures that he created, like the gas was just ridiculously cheap compared to today. Food was very cheap. Like he took pictures of the receipts of where he ate at. And you look at how much he paid for food, and you think about it in today's money, you're like, dang, that's a really good price for what you got. So I'd like to be able to show people different slices of America if I had the means to do it. You know, he was lucky. He got a grant that allowed him to do that. I think he'd put in an idea and somebody signed off on it. They gave him the money to go on the trip. You know, but you have to be very well known. You know, you have to have all the right connections, I think, in order for a lot of that to happen nowadays. So I don't expect that I have those. Yeah, exactly, Pete, exactly. I mean, it's just a lot of people said it's very banal photography. Like, it's, you know, most people are just kind of like, they look at it and they're like, yeah, what's the big deal about this? It's not like you're going to buy a print and hang it in your home, you know. So that's certainly not something you got to worry about. But it's just a very interesting shot of America in the 70s. I think is when he did it. You know, a lot of, you know, the Vietnam War was going on. There was all these social issues and everything. And he just, I think he captured a serious essence of America at that time. Whether you like what you saw or not, you know, it's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I've seen that book. I used to own it. I think I lost it in the move. I'd like to have it again, but you know, it's a very, matter of fact, when we had to do an artist presentation on my when I took the analog photography class here at the community college, and I picked him, and I, you know, not because it was color photography, which, you know, kind of goes against what we're learning in black and white film stuff, basically, but just the, you know, that this person was traveling and just capturing little snapshots of the world. You know, I'm going to slow down here. I'm pretty pleased. I've not had any significant issues with PZB or CIFA. Not too bad for not having been on this route in ages. So yeah, I always liked, you know, that the notion of what he did. So if I had the means, I would do that, to be honest. Maybe not so much stay in hotels, although, you know, if you had a camper, after a while you feel a little claustrophobic. Yeah, like when I was flying, I put my phone up. But in the Burger King in my hometown, they have photographs of the restaurant. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's a very valid point there, Pete. Yeah. You know, because, yeah, if you were, you know, and maybe it's just because people who were around, they remember that restaurant the way it was, and you know, now it's completely different. You know, there's a lot of restaurants in my hometown that are way different than they used to be. I mean, one of the, as a matter of fact, Mello, remember the picture I posted about this is a message that you need a pie or whatever? That used to be a restaurant called Sambo's a long time ago. And of course, Sambo's doesn't exist anymore at all in America for various reasons. If you look up the history of the restaurant, I think you'll understand why that today would not, the restaurant would be forced to close. But I remember going there as a kid, you know. I never thought anything about the name of the restaurant or anything like that. You know, it was just a place to eat as a kid. I didn't know anything different. Didn't even think about it. But, you know. So, yeah. And that's one of the great things, and you'll hear about it in my video when I was walking around. Savannah, for all of its history, None of it. Oop. I thought I was well below the. Wow, see, I spoke too soon. I thought I was well below the limit. I think photographs like that show off two things. One, how things were done and what things look like. The evolution of the property or the area at the time. Exactly, Pete. But yeah, Savannah does not, so far, has resisted erasing history, which I think is a good thing. Whether it's, I was talking to my old Army friend about this. I said, no history should be erased or whatever, whether it's, and history should be shown whether it's positive or negative, because that's the only way people can learn about how things used to be, so we don't go back to those same mistakes. If you erase things, then you are creating a situation where no conversations can happen, where people learn about the errors of the ways. So yeah, Savannah, whether you'll hear about things, but I mean, it presents things in a very unique perspective that you're like, well, but wait, why was I not told about this in school, for instance? So it does create a dialogue, and often when that happens, I think people start to realize or understand that, oh, I didn't look at it from that perspective. That's what history should be about. But we're so often ready to just erase somebody's existence or erase this particular thing because we didn't like the fact that they did stuff that we don't agree with. So yeah, I think everybody will enjoy. I did show the just stuff about Savannah. The houses, they have the slave quarters where the slaves lived. That's just the reality of it. But they show it there to show, you get a better sense of how people lived during that period of time. I mean, you can get a degree in preservation at the College of Art and Design. When I have been to the USA, I really enjoyed seeing genuine buildings that are from the 50s. Yeah, it did. Absolutely, Pete. Absolutely, it does. But a lot of people associate that with unpleasant things about the country at the same time, and that's the difficult part, is how do you reconcile that association with being able to enjoy that architecture style, yeah. And if you look around, you can. Yeah, it's true. You can, but a lot of, like Savannah, the College of Art and Design has saved a lot of things that would have been otherwise demolished. But in areas like in San Francisco, for instance, if you wanted to save certain parts, they'd say, well, there's no reason for that, or it shows the ugly side of San Francisco, or whatever. So yeah, there's just a lot of people always when things are talked about in context and shown the whole picture, then people, I think, have a greater appreciation. They just don't take things for granted or find ways to say, well, we have to do away with this because of this. Everything should be about creating conversations and getting people to understand things in a larger context. Look at that stop. Nailed that. Right. To help you, I added you on my featured list to try to get you up and running. Oh, thank you, Mick. I greatly appreciate that. But what you're not telling Rob, Serpes, is the fact you flew the plane to America before you went on your trip. No. No, I did not. No, I did not. I don't fly. I am not a pilot. That was certainly one of the things I always wanted to do, but that's not possible because my eyes are not that good, trust me. So anyway, well, thank you, Mick. I do greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate everybody coming in and having conversations and all that. It's very good. Anyway, so that's going to be it for this. Just took us a little over an hour. Anyway, so we had to make one stop, and then we had to kind of go slow to get here, but that's okay. We got a gold medal out of it. I've got a brilliant idea for your first ground rule for YouTube. Time out, Mr. Adams. I don't know that he's going to come in, Pithers. He may not. One more route. No, Pithers. I got some stuff I need to get done. I got to get the other videos off the camera card and get those posted. Thank you, Pete. I greatly appreciate that as well. So yeah, please leave a thumbs up if you did like the video. What's the old story? It all does help out. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, the usual spiel, you know. But yeah, I'll be back. Probably won't be tomorrow because I've got an appointment in the morning. And if I do, it'll probably be in the afternoon if I do another video. I know Joe's trying to get going again with his stuff. So yeah. So anyway, that's going to be it for here. I will see you all later on, another time for sure. And enjoy the rest of your hump day, Wednesday. And